So, we let Bob find 10 more outlets for Magna Carta in North London.
Easy. I could shift another 10,000 copies a week, at least, if we could print them.
You step up circulation any more, there won't be any room for His Majesty's mail in that little red van of yours, Angus. Right. Finance. Best thing we ever did, you know, Bob, making you treasurer. No Pentagon group should be without its own state rent collector.
There was this little bloke yesterday, 2 months adrift with his rent. Skint, he said. Then he gives me 40 Anglos for our fund.
Oh. Two people returned books to the library yesterday, with money inside the covers.
You be careful, Werner. PCD.
Somebody's grasped.
Right, perfectly legal, only 5 of us. So leave me to do the talking.
PCD, ID card. Resolved to support the government and the PCD in whatever measures are required to maintain law and order in these difficult times. Who writes the funnies?
Well, that's not meant to be funny.
Very touching, then. We don't need help from the likes of you, Kyle. Or anyone.
No.
Some of us think you do. Just say what you're after.
Touchy lad, aren't you? And nothing special. It's fun finding out. Very touching resolution, Kyle. Not often we come across PCD fan clubs. Who's this, then?
Our father.
No need to recite the Lord's Prayer, sonny.
Very funny.
Give us any bother, did he?
He died last year.
How about when he was alive? I asked you a question.
Put it back where it belongs.
He was ill for a long time before he died.
This yours, miss?
No, it's mine.
Give it to him, Bob.
It's easy to see who's got the brains round here.
Right, he'll do. Leave the rest.
Pray. All right, come on, what's he done?
He's cheeky.
He's done nothing. Leave him alone.
It's what you've all done. It may only be a minor offence, Kyle, but this is a political assembly.
Take me instead.
McRae, it is perfectly legal. There's only 5.
6. You're one over. Law and Order Act 1987, Schedule 6, Clause 4.
Heartening indeed. I didn't expect quite so many big fish in our nets from such a random trawl.
Up to the minute arrest,
3
please.
MPs, 2 trade union leaders we never thought to be members of Pentagon. Not to mention that naughty vicar who prays for us on Sundays and now shows up with rebels in the vestry. Less than 1,500 cells in half a day. Should do better.
Sent up?
Favorite here, with several VIP dissidents in the trawl, including James Kyle.
Indeed, Face Prince. They didn't pick him up, did they? No. So who did they pinch from his cell? Kyle and a young state rent collector? Could be illuminating.
I doubt it. I shouldn't think the young man knows anything of Kyle's major activities against the state. The majority of these Pentagon groups are nothing. Kyle is a member of 23 of them. Most of them are about as dangerous as a powder puff.
23. Is that figure in your mind or on the record?
On the record.
You don't think much of today's venture?
It was unnecessary, provocative, and expensive.
We haven't told the Home Secretary that.
Not yet.
Don't, is my advice. We might learn more than you think from today.
All we're asking is permission to see my brother. Now, I've filled in 7 forms already. We've called every section we've been told to call and nothing. Now, who can I call to get results? Yes, I'll hang on.
I have nothing to say. Nothing to tell you. It was a meeting of friends, that's all. Friends! And we were within the law. We were 5, not 6. My mother wasn't one of us. 5. No, oh please, no more of that. Oh, not the dark. Not the dark! Thank you.
Who is Angus Millward?
I said, he's a GPO driver.
And what else?
I know nothing more. Maybe. Come in and ask me.
Name?
John Brooks.
Brooks. John. Nature of query?
I wish to know about my brother. The PCD took him away 3 days ago.
Ah, missing persons. His name?
Robert Brooks.
Brooks. Robert. ID card number?
696-822-OP.
You'd be surprised. Not many people can turn up their brother's numbers just like that. Here she comes. Your brother's whereabouts are known. He's alive.
Where, please?
Sorry, he's on a Y classification.
So you can't say where he's being detained?
Not detained. Protected in his own interest. Next, please.
But
Next, please.
Hey, what do you want? Well?
I'd like to talk to Harry Wardle, please.
See your ID card. I don't know any Mr. Ward.
Yes, Stan.
Some young geezer from Harry Day.
Who is he?
Name of Brooks. John Brooks. ID card seems genuine.
Okay, we'll have him in.
Come on in. Okay.
Damn it all, Harry, you should have known better.
4 pages. This rate will soon have an entertainment page.
Mr. Kyle,
You shouldn't have come here.
it is important.
Nothing is that important. I suppose it is me you've come to see.
Yes,
And I understand that you are a member of a Pentagon cell with him.
it really is important.
You know the game, John. You join as many cells as you like, but never, never, never talk about the members of one cell to the members of another. Now, you two have obviously been talking your damned heads off.
Blame me. I knew Mr. Wardle was doing some work for the underground paper. I suppose I was boasting. I was proud to know you.
Boasting.
I know him too, son, but I wouldn't boast about it.
You should have contacted me through our own cell.
That takes 48 hours.
48 hours? What is 48 hours compared to 10, 20, 30 years? The PCD could give to people like us.
They're already doing it to my brother.
Oh, I see. Personal, is it?
Yes, personal. And why not? Look, it's breaking my mother. We've tried every way we can to find where they've got him. You're trained to find things out. Maybe you can help.
I am not a Samaritan. Neither am I running a missing persons bureau. I do not know where your brother is being held or how he is.
You mean Robert?
What?
You'd normally call him Robert.
Look, I don't find it so easy these days to get things out of the PCD, and at the moment it is not wise to try. Now, in future, John, if you want to get in contact with me, you obey the rules and do it through our own cell. All right?
I see.
Three resounding cheers for the milk of human kindness. Not to mention esprit de corps. Present condition. So, there you are, Miss Blake. He can't have any visitors. Though it would be tempting to grant Kyle the facility of choking himself with his own words in the foreign press.
It isn't Kyle that wants the facility, it's the boy's mother and brother.
Both up to their ears in the Pentagon movement. Sorry. Scarden.
Home Secretary for you, Mr. Scarden. Channel 5.
Good morning, Home Secretary.
Morning, this is a classified call, Scarden, automatic wipe. Where are we with the Pentagon trawl?
Home Secretary?
How many are we still holding?
Present count, Minister. 2,612, as you instructed.
That was yesterday. Let half of them free. We must appear to be generous and humane.
Most of those we're still holding are hardliners.
Do as I say.
Home Secretary?
I hear our pestiferous hack Kyle is requesting facilities for a mother and brother of a friend of his in ARC 9.
That is so, Home Secretary.
Authorize. If you haven't already done so.
The young man is unwell.
Authorize.
Understood. You're doing?
No.
Sure.
Yes, Mr. Scarden?
Detainee Brooks, Centre 9. Issue passes for the mother and brother.
Yes, Mr. Scarden.
What's Our Lady Kate up to, do you think?
She wasn't on the record.
Not on tape. You heard her.
Yes.
Scarden.
ARC 9 advised no visitors for Robert Brooks.
I didn't ask for Centre 9's advice. I demanded facilities. Remind Centre 9 of the structure of this department and of Article 235G. Coffee and wheat biscuits? Isn't it rather early after your breakfast with the Home Secretary? What did she offer you? The usual kippers?
Dear Mrs. Brooks, after due consideration, the controller has agreed on compassionate grounds that you may visit your son. The enclosed card will be presented at the entrance of ARC.
Robert!
John wants you to get some foreign pressmen in Trafalgar Square early Sunday morning. And a film cameraman.
Oh, yeah?
He says he thinks you might know some of them.
All right, well, what's the silly devil up to now?
I don't know. Some sort of demo, he says.
Demo? In Trafalgar Square? There hasn't been a demo in Trafalgar Square for 7 years.
Yeah, that's what John said.
Oh, where is he?
I don't know. Honestly.
Come on, don't play little girl
If I knew
lost.
where he was, I'd be with him. Anyway, I've given you the message.
Was he with his mother?
No.
Ah, you know that then?
Because he said he wouldn't be. He doesn't want her to know anything about it. And he doesn't want me there on Sunday.
Hi. This is Jean-Louis Cavaille of Le Monde, Dietrich Vogel, Die Welt, and Judd Harmon, New York Times. Gentlemen, over here. Down below, we have two other fellas heavily disguised as tourists with cameras. Well, if I've wasted your time, I shan't be sorry. What's he up to?
Hello, Europe. News by satellite from America tonight brings you a remarkable film of the young British martyr whose self-immolation in Trafalgar Square has roused the sympathy of the world for the freedom fighters of the United Kingdom. Commentary is by a friend of the young man, one of the leaders of the British dissident movement.
John Brooks was 21, an unknown electrician.
The voice is not unknown.
His brother Robert,
I
2
know it
years
anywhere.
older at 23, was recently arrested without charge by the notorious PCD.
I need no voice print to be
They
sure
broke his
that's
mind in
Kyle.
adult rehabilitation
Sounds rather
centre,
like him.
Then we have him.
one of the
This
dreaded
is treason.
psychiatric units. This was the one way John Brooks felt he could challenge the tyranny of the PCD. The PCD are jumpy. They're trying to pretend that John was in some personal trouble. He wasn't. They're trying to say that his death was not political. It was. They have even put a ban on news about his funeral. Not even the date may be announced. I can tell you it will be next Tuesday. But the PCD will retaliate by changing the time and the place to avoid the eruption of public anger they know could now engulf them. The PCD have been rattled by John's death. They're running scared for the first time.
Pick up Kyle.
The PCD is making
Unlimited.
attack on the dissidents, the freedom fighters. It is being carried out on the orders of the Home Secretary Kate Smith and executed by the controller of the PCD, Herbert Walter Scott. The tragedy of John Brooks is moving the people of Britain as nothing has done since 1940. John Brooks' sacrifice will not be forgotten.
Here in Washington, pressure was on President Foster by a powerful lobby of both Republicans and Democrats to announce immediate trade sanctions against the UK. The French President and the West German Chancellor have agreed to meet in Paris next week to discuss a European approach. And from Geneva comes late news that the Human Rights Commission has called on Britain to curb the powers of the PCD and to restore free elections.
Well, Herbert, will it blow over?
Come the four corners of the world, Home Secretary. We mustn't let foreigners bully us.
Whistle Jerusalem all you like, it won't blow over. And we're in no state to put up our fists to the Americans, the French, the Germans, and the Italians.
What are you positing, Miss Blake?
Noble gesture time.
Hmm?
You could resign.
I don't fancy becoming the first Englishman in the last few hundred years to occupy the stocks at Tyburn.
We'd see the mob doesn't find you. There is plastic surgery still. We do need a limited purge.
A limited purge?
Window dressing with a promise to do better.
I'm beginning to see the rainbow.
Hallucinations, Home Secretary. You were also named in that newscast.
How many of our sets in this country can pick up the American telecasts?
Our figures say about 7,000.
Yes, how many?
About 1 million.
What's today's in colour in the fashion world, ladies? Yellow?
We are not going soft. We will not surrender. We will not be deflected by a few howls from across the Atlantic, or some in strange tongues from the other side of the Channel.
Well said, Home Secretary. Controller.
Mrs. Garden?
All my calls on intercept from this moment. All.
Yes, Mrs. Garden.
You all right, Herbert?
Fine.
You look as if you've just seen a live bomb.
Some lunatic, unbalanced people abound.
Someone threatened you.
And my mother.
What the hell's all this?
We've given words a chance, Jim. Now it's the sword.
How many loads like this have you got?
Nationally? Hundreds.
David, these kids have never used anything more deadly than a pea shooter.
We're not so misguided as to think we can launch an all-out attack. We're just going to pick up as many PCD hooligans as we need.
As you need?
To make our point.
And when you've made your point, what then?
We put them on trial.
Kangaroo courts? No! No, we do not! We do not do it this way, David! No!
Right across the country, Jim. You are in a minority of one.
David, we always said that one day there would be a human rights tribunal. Now, we always said that. Not this rubbish! Not lynch mobs, David! Look, we are winning. We are now winning. We stick to our plan. There's bound to be a purge of the PCD soon.
Yes. And this is the best laxative.
We stick to our plan.
Clearly an organized revolt, Ryder. They're trying us on for size. And they'll learn to regret it. Just a couple more. Latest total.
They're breeding faster than rabbits.
We do have things well under control, Home Secretary.
Oh, there you are, Scotland.
And it would be advisable to talk in my office.
Inspector McRae for you, Mr. Scarden, in Trafalgar Square now.
Not another martyr.
No, Home Secretary. We had a report that some 200 of these Pentagon pests might be assembling in Trafalgar Square.
They can't do that.
Indeed, they can't. Yes, McRae?
Just to confirm, sir, the square is deserted, but...
McRae?
Just one moment, Mr. Scott. Leave it! Centre, I want bomb disposal.
Right, thank you. $30,000 to date. Even the PCD acknowledged that. 30,000 identity cards chucked away, David. And who knows how many by tomorrow. Well, the Home Office can't push this under the carpet.
We don't intend to let them.
200 dissidents. No bomb, no demonstration. Just 200 more ID cards.
It might have been their owners, sir, and it could have been a bomb.
Get out, McRae. And I should have the medical officer check you over for those goose pimples. Bombs.
Goose pimples are catching.
And we can dispense with the facetiousness.
I'm serious. Anyone of us not getting spine shivers with 32,000 dissidents on the loose.
34,000 is the latest.
And the Lord knows how many it'll be by the time I'm on the air.
Garden. Yes, Copeland. Your private secretary, Home Secretary.
Andrew, I've just spoken to the PM. I shall be doing a mandatory government telecast tonight about the ID card nonsense. Knock me out a draft, will you? About 10 minutes worth. Slightly more, don't skimp. I'm allowed up to 20. Oh, you know, in a suede glove. Thank you, Andrew. A spot of leaves, garden. Sabbatical.
With so many people roaming around without their ID cards, it shouldn't be too difficult to pull in, say, 1 and 10, and make it clear that the state will use them as examples.
That is precisely what I was trying to do when this young idiot did himself in Trafalgar Square. And you, Miss Blake, have all along pressed for somewhat more liberal, what one might call soft approaches.
I haven't finished. I was going to say that after we have arrested some 5,000 to 10,000 of these protesters and made their friends think again, we announce an amnesty.
An amnesty?
Not only for those arrested, but also for all those who have disposed of their ID cards.
I like it. Authorize.
You realize what this will mean? Arrests on such a scale will involve us in ID spot checks across the nation. You really are in favor of that?
In the nation's interest, yes.
And you?
Yes.
Then perhaps, Miss Blake, you will draft an authorization for the Home Secretary to sign.
You don't need an authorization.
I would prefer one.
Are you the controller here or not? Of course, if you've lost your nerve.
Very well.
Willis, enforcement.
Willis, this is immediate. I want at least 10% of those ID card dafties picked up, cold storage, no visit from friends or relations.
Immediate, Mr. Scott?
That's what I said.
It's a matter of personnel, sir. Do I cancel all time off?
Time off.
Can I have your authority for unlimited overtime?
One more remark like that, Willis, you'll be doing unpaid overtime growing roses.
We do all we can to help those resisting arrest. We step up distribution of small arms for when we start snatching on our own account.
Spit up.
Right, Kyle, we're taking you in. McRae? Chief Inspector McRae. Chief Inspector McRae, sir, it is a mandatory broadcast. Don't you think we ought to watch?
Good evening. It is Friday night, which is leisure centre night, so I shan't take up too much of your time. We are living through disturbing days. Some of our fellow citizens, a minority, have begun a campaign of protest against our country. They use the underground, nay, the sewer press, and foreign newspapers to slander their own land. Now they have taken to disposing of their identity cards and vandalizing our finest buildings with graffiti. You know, with all the kindness in the world, we can't let this go on. The instigators of this pernicious movement will have to be punished. I have given so much thought to this problem, and you know there are two sides to it. Many of those who have thrown away their identity cards have done so not in protest against the government, so much as against the excesses of one department of the Home Office, the Public Control Department, the PCD. So though we have some genuine enemies of the state who must be punished severely, most of our fellow citizens in this current protest are only minor offenders. They belong, romantically, to a group calling themselves the Pentagon Movement, the Pentagon Fives. And what worries me is that they are as much sinned against as sinning. For what we have seen is the unacceptable face of bureaucracy. I repeat, the unacceptable face of bureaucracy. I did not come into politics to sustain and underwrite the power of faceless civil servants. And I am not Home Secretary now merely to rubber stamp tyranny. You know me, how could I? I am therefore announcing, with the blessing of the Prime Minister and the entire Cabinet, an immediate amnesty for all those now held by the PCD for not possessing identity cards.
The lose over there,
I have
McRae.
already given strict instructions that all these fellow citizens of ours must be let out right away.
Liar! What instructions?
As Home Secretary, I will have no more hounding of ordinary people by the PCD. And I promise you that I have taken action to ensure that the PCD behaves as it was intended to, for the people, not against them. There will be a rigorous, and I do mean rigorous, inquiry into every aspect of PCD activity, and not least into the conduct of its officers.
Well, there goes your pension.
The inquiry will look into excesses. It will certainly investigate the running of our adult rehabilitation centres for any abuses. And you know, you have my word for it, there will be no cover-ups. I shall not flinch from taking strong disciplinary action.
Judas could have sat at her feet and learned a thing or two. Did you know about this? Did she let you enter?
No.
Miss Blake, I have no friends. Perhaps you'd see that my mother gets this. And she knows nothing about my work. She's 85.
Won't you be seeing her?
I doubt if there's time.
We can all see this through together, and once it is out of the way, and I can make this promise on behalf of the entire government, we can contemplate a free general election. Good night to you all.
So hop it, McRae.
You're no kid without an ID card, Guile. I'm taking you in for treason.
McRae, where have you been during the past few minutes? Mars, now hop it. David, there's no need.
We're taking prisoners.
It is, in fact.
And you can thank your patron saint for that.
Senor Perez, please. It's Herbert's Garden. Not available. I see. Alan, I'm sorry, if you please. It's Herbert's Garden. Not until Monday. I understand.
I know they're blaming you, Herbert. I know they'll be hunting you. I want to come with you.
It's really not a very good idea, Barbara. Come on. My coat.
Herbert, please.
Birmingham's dead. And Liverpool. And the record office. And number 3 computers packed up.
Emigration control?
Thank God someone's got the guts to hold on. Anything on Scarden?
No.
What does that mean?
It means we're getting a no trace.
He's thrown away his identity card. He lives with his elderly mother, doesn't he?
He's not there.
You sure?
Sure.
Only we don't want you blamed for his excesses, do we? No trace at all?
He told his driver to take the official car down the M4.
Whilst he went elsewhere?
Clearly.
Don't upstage me, Miss Blake. I am the minister, and you are a senior official in a discredited institution.
I don't know where he is, and I don't really care.
Good morning. I wondered if you could help me. I understand I wish to travel abroad.
Come in. That's Angus, but our illegal immigrant.
Well.
I think you have come to the wrong travel agency, Herbert.
Yours, Kyle? Crossed my mind from time to time that it might be.
I thought you had your exits all worked out. With Perez, Massau, one or two others?
When the crisis came, they were all out.
I don't blame them. Who'd been for you, Herbert?
You really expect me to get you out?
I do not. I wasn't expecting to see you.
What were you expecting?
Looks like a lynch mob.
How many people have you forced out of the country, Herbert? How many people have you had cabbaged in your adult rehabilitation centers? How many people have you had murdered? Oh, I suppose we'll be counting years from now.
Anarchy would have been worse.
No regrets?
I'd have to be made of concrete to have no regrets.
Who'd have you? Which country would have you?
My friends, my contacts are all otherwise engaged. I'll stay and face whatever music my masters, whoever they may be, choose to put on.
It'll only be funeral marches. With a gun. Sit down. I'll get you out.
I wouldn't want to give her the pleasure of playing God.
No, the prince. Your role. You remember the old Latin tag, what pleases the prince has the force of law? Well, your princely days are over, Herbert. Right, now, what do you want to be? I mean, what should we put on your new passport? Journalist? Scientist? Trade union leader? Ballet dancer? Well, perhaps not that. Labourer?
My hand's out now, enough.
David, get him out of my sight. Get him out of the country.
No.
David, I do not want him dying in one of our jails. Get him out of the country.
He stays. Can you jump? Kangaroo court.
David, out of the country.
Don't give me orders, Jim.
I could have told you, Kyle, not all of your friends will turn out to be soft-boiled liberals.
Shut up. Come here, David. You are going to forget all this. And you are going to get him out of the country. Now. Stay where you are! Everybody stay where you are! Give me the gun. The gun.
We are going to put him on trial.
proper trial.
Fully legal.
Exactly. Now, you better be got to hospital. No, not you. You take him, David. All right?
All right.
Smash the lot! Let's rip it apart! That would be foolish. We need the equipment to trace those PCD criminals who caused us all so much misery.
2 days enough?
I doubt it.
It'll have to be. Or we'll turn it into a scrapyard. Or maybe keep it intact as a black museum.
Watching them won't make them go away. I thought you'd know that by now.
Even got 2 more men there. The one with the fire escape. Are the PCD dead? Or simply resting?
They're on your side now, James.
For how long?
The kindly Home Secretary gave us 2 hours and then...
Come in, Lynn Blake, your time is up. Lynn, I could probably still get you out, you know.
Kate needs me. It's part of her burnt offering.
But look, she'd do a deal with me, I'm sure. And she's already...
Offered you your job back. Yes, I know. It's in her gift now.
Yeah, well, that's bad enough.
Letting me out is something else.
It's not as though you're like the rest of the PCD, Lynn. I mean, it isn't as if...
Leave it.
You can't. Yes?
We'll have to arrest Miss Blake now, if you don't mind, sir.
Presently.